All right. Well, I'm a dad, so I have to start with a dad joke, right? Like, I have to? Okay, well, today's May 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
Thank you. And so I have to say, Gracie, I am your father. All right, there we go. Thank you. It's a joy to be with you all today. It's an honor to be asked to be a part of this time and the continuing clergy series that I get to be a part of with you all. My role as a clergy is that I am a hospice chaplain. So I provide a lot of emotional and spiritual support for our patients and families that are going down the end-of-life journey road. If any of you have been around hospice or had someone a part of it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I do a lot of bereavement support for our families as well. So thanks for letting me join you today. I would like to start with a very familiar passage that transcends not just anyone that may have a Christian background or tradition or practice, but a phrase that really has kind of gone out beyond that tradition. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came to where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him, bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, and then he put the man on his own donkey, took him to an inn, and cared for him. That is, of course, the story of the Good Samaritan. That's a phrase that started in Scripture but clearly has gone on beyond that. And in fact, in many communities, there are Good Samaritan laws that are in certain communities around. Our town might have Good Samaritan laws. So just to give you a little bit of an understanding is that Good Samaritan comes out of, in my mind anyways, an idea of helping someone that is a stranger, someone that we don't know. This Samaritan came along and helped someone who was in rough shape. This person was a stranger to them. So as we continue this series and this idea of love your neighbor, I was thinking about, well, what does even neighbor mean? And to me, I have a pretty broad definition of it. To me, neighbor is anyone who is in need. Anyone. If that someone is in need, it is not only, it should come out of a place of heart, but our duty and our responsibility to care for them. The problem with love your neighbor is that it's broad and comprehensive. In other words, it's really hard. Loving your neighbor is not easy. Every once in a while when I talk to somebody who says, gosh, what's it like to work in hospice? I always tell them, it's not easy, but it's good. And loving your neighbor is the same. It's not easy, but it's good. Yeah. The other way that I think about it is that, like the love part, right? True love is sacrificial. It's one thing to say I love you, but you really back up that statement when you do something about it. You see, I was thinking about the idea of what hinders us from loving our neighbor. Like, what are the things that stop us from loving our neighbor? And I wrote down a couple. And I have to speak real fast because my paper's getting soggy, but here we go. Why don't we extend love? Here's one reason why I think we sometimes don't love our neighbor. Because it means we have to delay or stop what we're doing. Sometimes we might see someone that needs help, but in that minute we kind of look at our watch and we think about what is going on in our head and we go, I don't know if I'm going to have time. I'm doing this thing. I got to go over here. I don't know if I'm going to have time to stop. So delaying and stopping sometimes hinders our ability to love our neighbor. Here's another one. If our neighbor is in the mud, that means we're going to get muddy. Yeah. And sometimes that stops us. We might look at someone who's in rough shape and we maybe hold back or pull back our care for them because if they're in the mud, that means we're going to get some mud on us, and sometimes that hinders us. Here's another one that I thought about. How many times have we said, well, it's not my place, or I don't know if I want to get involved? It's hard to get involved. It is. And it's hard to kind of step out of that comfort zone when many, many other people around us may be saying, well, it's not my place. The last one that I thought about that hinders our ability to love our neighbor is we're not wearing our neighbor glasses. There are times and places when you have a mission and an objective. Maybe even if it's go to the grocery store, right? You've got your list, you want to get in, you want to get out. And in those moments, we don't always have our neighbor glasses on. So that's my challenge for you is always be wearing your neighbor glasses. In that passage, it says, he took pity on him and with compassion helped him. I looked up that word compassion in Greek, the original form of the word. So I'm going to teach you a Greek word today. The word is splagnizomai, and that's what the Greek word means for compassion or pity. The reason why I wanted to look up that word is because from there, the definition of splagnizomai is to be moved from your innards. To be moved from your innards. In other words, your gut. You see, back then the idea your emotions didn't come out of your heart. They came out of your gut. Your innermost sense of your tenderness and warmth came from that area. In other words, out of the depth of his character, he was moved to help the man that was on the side of the road. And so my challenge for you today, as you look around with your neighbor vision goggles on, that you would be moved not just out of your heart, but out of your gut. May you be moved to see people or groups of people or causes that stir you from your innards. Fight on. Here we go. Thank you for letting me join you today.
Yeah.